Hello everyone and welcome back to Real Life Alpha. So just before we start the video, I would like to thank everyone who likes, shares and comments this video, so it helps out spread the word and for the sake of the growth of this channel. Now honest with the topic that I have for this video, which would be, if you're a man, and especially if you're a man, you should stay away from dating apps. So in my honest opinion, all men, and I do say all men, regardless of sexual orientation, ethnicity, whatever it might be, especially men, you should uninstall and delete all dating apps from your smartphones. Now, to have a quick analysis of all of these dating apps, and I truly believe that they are designed in a really flawed way. So the thing is, regardless of the platform that you create a profile, as you create a new profile, that new profile will be pushed by the algorithm of the said platform for the first few days, and it will remain flat ever since. So I've used some of these apps and I can see that they are really bad bones when it comes to features. It is nothing more than a display of a few pictures and a form displaying your name, your age, your location, and just a short bio. In a lot of senses, this is very similar to an e-commerce website. Now the thing is, this is vastly different presenting a partner to you and selling you a product, for instance, on Amazon. Now we need to remember that behind that profile, coulda, shoulda, woulda be a real life human being, and it's not an electronic gadget or any other item that you can buy on Amazon, for instance. Also on those platforms, I find it really difficult to make a lasting impression on someone. And I think that running game is a highly incompatible strategy, and trying to apply it is next to impossible for mainly two reasons. First one, obvious, I cannot physically escalate things in a sexual manner with a woman. And the other would be, I cannot read body language. I cannot gauge her interest in me. Now, to have a bit of an analysis on how women operate on these dating apps. So it has been statistically proven that most of these women are not looking to hook up with you or to meet up or to do anything with you. The problem is that they feel bored and they want to feel also desired by lots of men. This is just to give them a sense of validation to be, perceived as desirable. This is to an extent that it just bloats her confidence levels all the way to arrogance, which creates, once again, what I mentioned in previous videos, a severe case of 49ers. And the rest of the women will give you a flimsy chance to match, even harder to reply back, and nearly impossible to set up a date. So a common problem with women using these apps is catfishing and misleading photos. For whoever doesn't know what catfishing is basically you put a picture of yourself where you look smashing, and then in real life you may not even come close what the product is. So women deceive a lot of men with high-end photography. I've seen some women who are average looking to below average looking, but with a nice photographer, good lighting, and the correct angle, that 4 can become a 9. I've seen some women also using some really dirty tactics, such as the bird eye view, where they have like this weird angle from their phone where they hide all the fat, filters that change her appearance, and heavy use of makeup and Photoshop enhancements. Oh, also we cannot forget those group photos where there's lots of women and you have no idea which one you're targeting. It is fairly common for women also to lie about their age, about their weight, about their chest size, etc, etc, etc. However, guys are shamed if we do the same, even to a much less extent. And man, please also realize that these platforms are filled to the brim with low quality women. We're talking about fat women, gold diggers, single mothers, cheaters, party girls, catfishes, and mentally insane women. Also really funny, a lot of these women who are low quality have a massive, and I do say a massive, laundry list of checkboxes that you need to tick everything, or else you're not eligible to have the privilege of being in her life, or she will not bless your life with her company. Altogether, quality men should not be competing for those women. Now on the man's side, I truly believe that these apps really ruin your self-esteem by glorifying looks. And as well, we as men, we are experiencing a really double standard when it comes to looks. Whereas a man needs to look like a perfect 10, and if he plays his cards right, he might have a 5. And me, on a personal matter, I operate over the we. What you see is what you get. But when it comes to using these platforms, if you don't resemble anything like our friend here, Chad Thundercock, you might as well forget using those platforms. Also guys, for we as men, we are not allowed to shame women on these platforms. Anything that we may say that could be deemed as misogyny or shameful, we are automatically reported and banned. And also on the other end of the spectrum, if a woman is abusive and displays the same set of behaviors, she's allowed to do everything. She's allowed to say everything she wants, and everything just goes under the rug. And upon you using those dating apps for a while, you often come to the conclusion that men are perceived as an expendable product for women. And this is bad to such a proportion that the average man nowadays is completely worthless in an average woman's eyes. So in a nutshell, you opening a profile in these apps, you are setting yourself off for failure. Now, according to my experience, using these platforms, I managed to get a couple dates. These were girls that I would not deem very interesting. They were 5s at best, average looking girls. And after the date, I came to the conclusion they were not really turned on by me. It just goes to show that these days, even to attract an average looking woman, you need a tight game, and which I did not have at the time. So you might come into the conclusion that the juice is just not worth the squeeze. I mean, it's perfectly understandable you need to have tight game and everything in line to attract an 8, a 9, or a 10. But all of that for a 5? A little bit too much for me. I reckon that you have way better chances going into a bar or club, although I do not recommend those places. Those places are also quite bad, but not to the extent of these platforms. What I would recommend is pretty much everywhere else. This could be the grocery store, this could be a coffee shop, this could be a restaurant, this could be a concert. Even on the street, you're much better off. So my conclusion would be that the setup for men is completely rigged and it just pedestalizes women. Deleting these apps are the best course of action you can take. Companies who are responsible for these services have to restructure themselves from scratch if they want to stay in business, if you guys all take my advice of getting rid of all of them. So guys, this was Real Life Alpha. Thank you so much for watching, and like, share, and sub. Thank you.